Precision CAD CAM. Today we're going to take a look at creating the tool path for our 8 jam part and prepare it to cut on the CNC mill. To begin, I have Inventor open on my computer, just like this, and you also should have this video playing on your iPad sitting next to your computer. To begin, we're going to go up to the orange file in the top left-hand corner and go down to Open. We're going to select Open because this 8 jam part is in our H drive and we need to open it from there. So when our open screen comes up, it automatically defaults to my H drive, first initial last name 000. If yours does not automatically default to that, click in the pull down menu here and you should scroll down to your H drive, first initial last name 000. It should be the last one in the list here. Once there, you're going to find your 8 jam part and select Open. Okay, once it loads on your screen, we're going to be running 2 setups on this one. The first setup is going to be on this side, where we're going to take and cut the slots here on the sides, bore out the center, and cut the wings on each side of that circle geometry. That's our first setup. Our second setup, we're going to rotate around to the back of our part, and from this side, we're going to take and set up another one to cut the slot in the bottom and the 4 holes that are on the back. Okay, this side is going to get cut first on the CNC mill, and then this side is going to be our second cut, even though we're running this setup first. Okay, to begin, let's go up to above our ribbon bar and we want to select our CAM tab from up here on the top. 3D model, annotate, inspect, CAM, find that tab, click to select it. And from the job setup in our ribbon bar, we're going to click the setup folder. With that selected, there's a couple of changes that we need to do here. The first one, you can see that our work coordinate system is here in the middle. We want that in the lower left-hand corner. So we're going to make sure we have our origin set to stock box point, and we're going to click that lower left-hand corner in our front view. Next, we're going to go to the second tab, our stock setup. And here, we want to have relative size stock. We're going to change to fixed size box. Okay, and you can see how it snugs up next to all sides of our part here. Go on to our next tab, and here we're going to change our program name to 8 jam. And then we're going to click OK in the menu on the bottom left-hand corner. Okay, with that part set up, we're going to go up to the top. We're going to go to our 2D milling section, and we're going to select 2D pocket from the options that are there. Remember, these tabs, we work from left to right, and each tab we're going to take a look at from top to bottom. In this first tab, we're going to identify our tool. So click on the tool button. And in this small window on the left-hand side, we're going to scroll down till we find the End Mills folder. It's right underneath Sample Libraries. And we're going to choose tool number 2, 1/4 inch flat end mill, and click Select. Okay? With that tool selected, we're going to come in here and I want to click on the slots on each side of our circle geometry. I want to click in the bottom of our circle shape. Make sure you're getting the bottom surface, not that inside corner. Click on the bottom surface. We're going to bore that out. And then I want to select the wing that's on the right hand side and the wing that's on the left hand side of our part. Next, we're going to go establish our heights. So we're going to click on our next tab, the Heights tab. This should look pretty familiar to us. Clearance height, retract height, and feed height, we're going to change to stock top and 0.2, stock top 0.2, and our feed height is also going to be stock top and 0.2. Going on to our next tab where we're going to establish our heights. These little wings here, the slots that are in the circle, they are 1/4 inch down. We can take that in one pass, but this other step down here in the bottom of our bore is going to be a 1/2 inch, so we're going to have to do multiple depths. So in this tab coming down, we want to make sure we have check mark in front of multiple depths. We're going to change our maximum roughing step down distance right here, highlight it, and change it to 0.25. Let's scroll down in our window, and where it says stock to leave, we want to uncheck that box there so that we are cutting right up next to the geometry that's selected. Let's go on to our final tab, our linking tab. In the linking section where it says safe distance, we're going to click in there and highlight, and we're going to change this distance to 0.2. Leads and transitions, we're going to uncheck lead in, uncheck lead out. And our ramp style right here, we're going to change the ramp type from helix to plunge. When you're finished with that, click OK in the bottom left-hand corner of our model browser bar, and it's going to generate those toolpaths. Okay, you can see those right here. That looks awesome so far. Okay, next, let's go to our back. Let's go up to our World View Cube in the top left-hand corner of our screen. We're going to click on that backmost corner in the top view of our World View Cube. That's going to spin us around. And now we're going to set up to be on the back. There's a couple of changes here, so let's make sure we're following closely. Let's click our setup again from the job section in our ribbon bar. Okay, and you can see that our work coordinate system is still on the origin facing the front view. So we have to do some modifications on that. We're going to leave this at stock box point, but we want to click this left-hand corner right here. Okay, and now let's talk about this work coordinate system. My Y is in the correct direction, but my Z and my X are flipped. So we need to come over here to our work coordinate system. We're going to click on the pull down menu here, and we're going to go to select Z axis plane and X axis. Okay, the Z axis is automatically highlighted, so we're going to flip that, and that makes the Z come out towards us, which is the proper direction. We're also going to go over and flip our X axis, and that's going to flip our X axis around, and now that work coordinate system is actually positioned properly. Let's go to our next tab. Once again, we're going to change relative size box to fixed size box, and that makes that shrink in and snug up right next to our part, so that's awesome. Let's go to our next tab over, and here we're going to change our program name to 8Jam. And then we're going to click OK. With that being done, next we're going to take and we're going to cut the slot in the back of our part first. So let's go up to the 2D milling section, and we're going to click on our 2D pocket. Okay, with that done, let's click our tool button. We're going to scroll down to our sample libraries, choose End Mills underneath that, and we're going to choose tool number 2, 1/4 inch flat, and click select. Moving on to our next tab, remember we take these from left to right, and each tab we're going to look at from top to bottom. In our next tab, we're going to select our surface. I want the bottom surface in that slot, not the bottom edge and not the side. If you have to, zoom in a little bit on this in order to make sure you're selecting that bottom surface. Click to select it. And now let's go establish our heights. Old hat for us, stock top and 0.2 for the clearance height, stock top and 0.2 for the retract height, and for our feed height we're going to change this as well to stock top and 0.2. Go to your next tab, and in here we don't need to change multiple depths because it's a 1/4 inch, but we are going to uncheck stock to leave. Then we're going to go on to our final tab, our linking parameters tab, and we're going to come up here to our safe distance, click the highlight in there, and we're going to change that to 0.2. In our leads and transitions, we're going to uncheck lead in, uncheck lead out, and our ramp type in the ramp section, we're going to change from helix to plunge. That looks great. Once we've made those changes, let's go and click OK in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. Okay, next, let's go up to the top and let's create that drilling program. So go up to the drilling section in our ribbon bar, click our drill tool, and let's identify our tool. Go back to this little narrow menu on the left-hand side. We're going to select End Mills folder, which is underneath sample libraries. Choose tool number 2, 1/4 inch flat, click select. Okay, with our tool selected, we're going to go to our geometry tab next. And here we're going to take and we're going to click our holes. Now here it doesn't matter which order you click them in because we have optimize order selected as a default, which means that the computer is going to determine the best, easiest, and fastest way in order to create those holes. Let's go across to our heights tab next. Clearance height, retract height, and feed height we're going to change to stock top and 0.2. Okay, once we have those going, let's move on to our next tab and final tab. We're going to take a look, make sure that we have drilling rapid out. That means that it's going to take and drill one of the holes. It's going to rapid retract at a higher speed out of the hole, wrap it over to the next hole at a higher speed, and then drill that hole and wrap it back out again. Once we have that selected, click OK. And here we have our two setups. Since we're on setup 2 right now, let's click on that setup. Let's go up to simulate, turn our stock on, and let's click play. So it's going to take and cut that slot out first, and then it's going to take and drill our 4 holes. That looks awesome. Let's click close on our simulate window, and now we're going to post-process setup number 2. So make sure setup number 2 is selected. Let's go up and click post-process. Okay, once this loads up, we want to make sure we're in the correct output folder. So in our output folder section, we're going to click on this button right here on the edge of that. We're going to make sure we're in our H drive. Click to select your H drive, and then click select folder. Our program name and number, we're going to change in this section. It's going to say 8jam, and then we're going to put a note on here, cut first. So we changed the program name and number. It says 8jam still, but we're going to identify it as cut first to know that we run this program first when we cut it on the CNC mill. And then click post. And click save once again. It's going to come up with our HSM editor here where it shows us our M and G codes that control the CNC mill and our X, Y, and Z coordinates of the tool bit. Let's close this window out by clicking X in the top right hand corner. So setup 2 is done. Let's go back to our home position and let's take care of our setup 1. So let's click setup 1. Let's go to simulate. Make sure your stock is turned on. We're going to click play. It's going to play through, cut the 2 slots on each side of the circle, bore out the center geometry, and then cut the wings on the right and the left hand side. Okay, when that's finished, you're going to see that in this bottom arrow we don't have, this bottom bar we don't have any red down here, so it means we have good clean tool pass, we don't have any collisions. And then we're going to click close in the bottom left hand corner of our model browser. With setup 1 still selected, we're going to click post process. We're going to make sure we're going to the correct output folder. So we're going to click on that button there. Make sure we're clicking our H drive and click select folder. And we're going to change our program name and number. We're going to leave the 8jam, but we're going to put in a note, cut second. So we're going to cut the back side first, and then we're going to cut this side second, which is going to be your front view. And click post. Make sure that note's still going into your H drive and click save. And then our HSM editor is going to show up, which shows us our M and G codes for controlling the CNC mill and the X, Y, and Z coordinates of the tool bit. Let's close this out. And now we're going to go up to the orange file in the top left hand corner of our screen, and we're going to go down to save to update these changes. Click save. Awesome. You've now completed 8jam. Make sure you get up. You're going to go over and tell your teacher that you're ready to cut your 8jam part on the CNC mill. Remember, we're going to start with the 8jam cut first, which is going to be the back side right here, and then we're going to flip your part over, put it back into the CNC mill, and we're going to run 8jam cut second, which is going to cut the front of your part out. Excellent job. Congratulations on creating 8jam, the tool pass. Go over and tell your teacher you're ready to cut it on the CNC mill.